you're living your best life today, and thank you for dropping by. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. It's going to be a book review-ish, but we're really going to talk about this as from a writer's perspective. So a writer's book review and why this book didn't work for me. So there is going to be spoilers here. So if you have not read Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline, I'm gonna need you to get out, because we are going to be talking about that book in a little bit of detail, and I don't want to spoil anything for you. So let's get into it. Okay, so to start off, I was a huge fan of Ready Player 1, and oh man, I'm so freaking disappointed. Okay, number one, I had to like force myself to get through it, and it was not the worst book I've ever read, and it wasn't bad. I know exactly what was wrong with it, so we're gonna get into that a little bit. So as the book starts, we follow Parzival, that's funny. We follow Wade Watts, who is now a multi-billionaire. He's one of the most famous people in the world in this book, and he has pretty much unlimited power. And the book, you know, when you start a book and you're going and nothing is really happening, but there's just a lot of talking going on. So what happened for probably the first 3.5 to 4 hours of this audiobook, which I don't know how much that pertains to like book wise, so I'd probably say like close to 1/4 of the book, is a lot of telling and talking and absolutely no showing. This, for hours it goes on, just exposition, talking about what happened here and talking about his relationship with Samantha and the other surviving members of the High Five. This whole exposition dump that just went on forever. And so finally some action happens, and I'm like a little bit excited. I'm like, okay, this is going on. And so how do I even describe this? The main antagonist, we find out, it's way through, we don't find him until quarter way through the damn book, is a weird AI that was born from the mind of James Halliday, the guy who made the contest. It's this rogue AI that is very intelligent. The AI feels like he is a person, and he needs a way to find the 7 shards of the Siren Soul, and if Wade doesn't, everybody who is locked in at this time in the story into the Oasis, they're essentially hostages. Say that 5 times fast. They're hostages, a lot like what happened in Sword Art Online, where they are using a headgear neuro interface that essentially traps them. And in this book, if you're under for over 12 hours, your brain is gonna pretty much be fried. And so that is a ticking clock element that got put in there, and it worked for about a minute until they started like going and getting the things they needed to acquire, and there was no tension. There was nothing, and they were just going from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another, and then, maybe we might not get it here, and Parzival's kind of starting to shake, so we better hurry up, and we lost one here, and we lost somebody there, and why? There's so much opportunity. And they even had it to where they had NPCs going against the players, and he didn't even use them. I was like, what? Like, they're not even getting chased, nothing. And I think my issue with this book was the lack of showing, the lack of tension. Like, there was stakes, I suppose, it was all the people being held hostage. And of course, they really described how the entire world is very integrated with the Oasis. So the Oasis itself is kind of at stake with this too. You know, government and school and transportation and so much. So there is a stake, but it doesn't seem, to me as a reader, it just didn't seem like the tension was really there. I was missing it. I wasn't worried about, are they gonna make it? Are they gonna do it? Like what? And even at the end of the climactic action, it was just like, like really? Oh, it made me so sad. And I hate to do this, but this is a great thing to talk about, because us as writers, when we want to write a compelling story and we can take a step back and look at a story that maybe doesn't work, you know, this is only my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. I don't care. That's not the point. Agree, disagree, love it, hate it. I'm not trashing on it. I'm just trying to show what I found I didn't like and what I would change differently as a writer. So number one, I would do way less way less telling than showing in the beginning. That really dragged it on. I mean, oh gosh, it just went on and on. And yes, that information was somewhat pertinent to the rest of the story, but it was just Wade telling us about the last couple years of his life, and it wasn't that exciting. It was kind of depressing. Like, it was just disappointing. So when we're writing, let me focus now. When we're writing, we want to keep the audience super engaged. And how we do that is through tension, is through the fact that the reader has got to be like, no. They have to be wondering, oh my God, at every turn, some shit is gonna go down. Like, and that doesn't have to be big, giant, outward, external things. It could be very inward, very personal, their internal conflict. I'm not even sure what Wade's internal conflict is. What was really at stake for him? Maybe the relationship with Samantha, but what drove me nuts about that was that the second she found out that Anorak was plotting this whole thing, she was just like right back on the bandwagon. He had set up all this tension with her-ish, okay? He had set up a little bit of tension with her, and then it just bloop, completely goes away. She loves them again. It's all good. It's all fine. And sure, that they needed her in the story to find the 7 shards, but that could have been some tension there. So Wade could have earned his way back into her heart instead of just getting it handed to him. A lot of this was handed to them. They go on a little quest, and they kind of puzzle it out a little bit because there's a little clue on the shard, and they puzzle it out, and they're like, oh, I'm an expert in this. Fortunately, I know exactly what this is. And they go and they got it, and it was kind of, oh, you dodge a bullet there. Oh gosh, someone died there. And then they got the damn thing. Like, and then, at the end, they had sent someone off on a little side quest. They came back. Boom, it was there right when they needed it. It's tough. So, and I have struggled with the show don't tell thing, and I get it. I get that it's hard, and the way you really want to not do this is you want your characters interacting with that exposition, that stuff that you feel the reader really needs to know. You have to come up with a better way to get that information into the minds of your readers. You can't just tell them. And I swear I did this, like on the draft I'm working on now, my first few chapters, and I knew I didn't like them, but I couldn't quite pinpoint why. And it was because I was doing way too much telling, and then I really went in and revamped it, and I love it now, and it is so much more engaging, and it's so much better. And even just the way you describe something, I've been learning that you, instead of just describing what is happening, you could do it in a backwards way that is so much better, prose wise too, but just visually and engagement wise. And that's what was missing in Ready Player 2. A lot of that, again, the lack of stakes and tension. It was just, I feared not at all for the lives of these characters. I was not on the edge of my seat wondering what was going to happen, unfortunately. But I think getting through these type of books and being able to really know why it wasn't working for you and why it didn't make sense to you is so great for you in your own writing. Which is why I wanted to talk about it, because I thought that you guys would benefit from me pointing this out. I hope this was informative for you guys. Become a part of the army, click the bell, like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.